Hi, you're listening to This Is Not Your Practice Life. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friends. I'm a certified life and emotional intelligence coach. And if you really want to step into your highest self, there are a few non-negotiables you're going to have to learn, and I am just the person to help you do it. No matter your past, I'm here to help you create a more fulfilling future. So stick around with me. Not only will I teach you how to navigate your brain's daily mind drama, but I'll help you actually understand your mind, your emotions, why you do the things you do, and why others do the things they do. Most importantly, I'll help you build the self-awareness skills to create whatever results you want. It's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. After all, this is not your practice life. Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. So excited to have you here. I hope you get everything you need with all of these episodes and more, especially if you're a brand new listener. Welcome. Love to have you. And if you are a returning listener, I love to have you back. Really quickly, don't forget to leave a review if you have never left a review for the podcast. If you're an Apple Podcast listener, you can leave a written review. But even if you're not an Apple listener and you listen on Spotify or Pandora or, iHeart, anywhere else that you may listen, if you just go to the link in the show notes, there is a place where you can leave a Google review. And if you have ever been a client of mine and you've never left a review talking about what it was like working together, I would love and appreciate if you left one as a client so that other people who are thinking about hiring a coach can read your experience. And then also if you maybe haven't been a client, but you have been a podcast listener for a while and you find value here, to make sure to leave your review as a listener, because all of those reviews, whether it's, that you were a client or you are a client or you're a podcast listener, they help more people find the podcast. And it also allows me to keep from having to put in silly deodorant ads or just any kind of ad to monetize the podcast. I know that it's something that, I'm staying open to. I never want to shut it out completely, but I do enjoy having a podcast where you don't have to listen to 5 or 6 ads in order for me to monetize the podcast. The way that I have monetized my podcast has just been speaking openly, you referring it to friends, and people finding me and hiring me as their coach. That's how I've monetized my entire business. So to keep that going, it really helps to have brand new, fresh reviews. So if you've never left one, I just want to say thank you in advance if you do leave one. It really helps more than you will ever know. Okay. Let's get into today's topic, which is safe people, strong mirrors, what we really need in hard seasons. I'm so excited to bring you this episode today. And here's what I want to say. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you are on my email list, maybe even following me on social media, because I am working on something new, something low ticket. I don't do a lot of low ticket offers, but this is one that I am in the process of creating, and it's going to very much reflect what we are talking about today. It'll be more of a shorter program, low ticket, meaning that it should be very affordable, and something that you may really, really enjoy, especially if you like today's episode. So again, we're going to talk about safe people, strong mirrors, what we really need in hard seasons. That's today's episode title. So what I want to talk about with this is the kind of support that actually helps when life just feels like maybe too much, or it feels chaotic, or we have a lot going on. I'm not talking about the advice that people give us or the quick fixes that we sometimes so badly desire, but the real stuff, like what we actually need when we're raw, honest, overwhelmed, or even quietly falling apart on the inside. So as you guys know, I am an emotional intelligence coach. I teach my clients emotional intelligence skills, not only intellectually, but how to actually embody these skills. And something that is very true about my community is that we want to be a safe place where you can be raw, honest in yourself, but actually work through the skills you need to learn to create the life you desire to live and to be able to build healthy, amazing relationships with other like-minded women. So I really think that there are two roles that we crave in people in general within our relationships, whether we actually have that kind of relationship with other people in our life or not. There's really two things a lot of us as humans are looking for, but I will say it's very rare to find these two things together, and that is not only safe people, but strong mirrors as well. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about each. So when we're talking about safe people are the ones who can hold our emotion without shrinking, without fixing, without judging, and without rushing us through it. So I want to break that down really quickly, because just in case you're not certain what this can show up as or how it can look, I want to help you through it. And I also want to say you may interpret some of these things a little bit differently, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that what I'm about to suggest with each of these is the right thing or the only way to think about it. It's just immediately what comes to mind based on personal experiences, client experiences, etc. So when we're talking safe people and you express emotion, right, or you express a truth, when I say that a safe person is someone that doesn't shrink, in my mind, that means that they don't make your emotion personal or about them. They're able to hold really clean space. They don't shrink in that moment and start internalizing everything and make whatever you're telling them all about them. They don't become so uncomfortable with their own internalized thoughts that they cannot hold the emotion that you have too, okay? Fixing. A lot of us as humans, we want to fix people's problems. It's just a natural instinct. Someone brings something to us and we want to fix it. This is oftentimes why we become very frustrated with people who approach us with problems in their life. We offer solutions. They don't take the solutions and we get frustrated with them. What we forget is that, sometimes whenever we're expressing emotion and we're looking for safety in someone, we don't always want them to fix it. So with my clients, I always encourage them within my community and even outside of my community, when you're going to express emotion, make sure you are setting the person you're going to share it with up for success, meaning that if you don't want them to fix it, like your husband, your spouse, whoever it may be, a friend, let them know you're not looking for fixing, you're looking for a safe place to share, okay? Because our natural human instinct is going to want to fix things whenever you're not in a good place. Safe people also don't judge. And I know that this is hard because as humans, we all have a manual, meaning like an invisible rule book in our mind for what we think and believe about how people should think, act, talk, speak, behave, all the things, okay? And so it's natural that when someone comes to us with their authentic truth or emotion, that we're probably internally, whether we're voicing them or not, going to have some maybe judgments or opinions about what they're saying. But when you're actively working on being a safe place, again, it's not about you. It's not about your manuals in that moment. It is about, can you hold good, clean space to let them express what they need to express and then walk them through it accordingly from really deep listening, like not listening to respond, but listening to understand. And then last but not least, safe people don't rush us through our emotions, meaning that a lot of times people can only give you the emotional capacity that they honor or give to themselves. So if someone doesn't allow themselves to grieve, if someone doesn't allow themselves to be sad or upset, if someone doesn't know how to even feel their feelings, it's going to be very hard for them to reciprocate any of that for you because they don't even do it for themselves. So what you may experience is that they may rush you through your emotion because it's very uncomfortable for them to sit in an emotional experience with you because they're not used to ever sitting in it within themselves. So if they're the type of person that buries all of their emotions and just gets over it, right, in 10 seconds, they tell themselves that. That's not actually normally the case. But if they just are like, I'm over it, I'm burying this, I'll deal with it later, which a lot of times is never. As soon as you show up in any kind of emotional experience, they're going to want to fix it and make it better and rush you through it because that's what they do. Someone who is actually safe has a larger emotional capacity because they treat themselves differently with emotional intelligence and emotional awareness. And so therefore they're going to have a larger capacity for when you're in a messy space. Okay, so just as a recap, safe people are those that can hold our emotions without shrinking, without fixing, judging, or rushing us through it. Okay. The second thing that we as humans really crave are strong mirrors. And I want to say, this is more so what someone will crave who's on a self-growth personal development journey, who is actively working on growing their emotional intelligence and their skills. If you really care about seeing all your shit, right? I'm sorry if you've got children listening, but if you really do care about seeing all your crap, you want strong mirrors in your life. If you're not focused on any kind of self-growth, this is probably not going to be an ask for you because it would be triggering and it's going to feel like an attack. But for someone who wants to grow and evolve as a human, a strong mirror in someone is something you are going to want to welcome and invite. And it does take work to even get there. That's something that I feel like comes by the time women are ready to get into my hybrid experience program. They're ready for people that are like-minded, that maybe are, have some skills that are ahead of them in certain areas. Maybe they have skills. They're just on a similar playing field and they're ready for things to be mirrored. So here's what we're looking for whenever we're ready for that strong mirror. It's people who can reflect you back to yourself with love and clarity. Okay, they don't let you stay in the spiral of whatever you're going through, but they also don't yank you out of it prematurely. So a really strong mirror is someone who can sit in the same space as your, whatever you're going through, even when it's uncomfortable, and they can let you be in your process, but then lovingly, not only you, but that other person both feel safe enough to receive and be told what you need to see. So if you're the person in really deep emotion and you approach someone, you're like, I need safe space. Okay, let's say Susie is your safe space and you expel all the things to Susie. Susie, being a strong mirror, is going to let you express all of that emotion and be in your process. She's not going to rush you out of it. She's not going to try and fix it. But once she has heard everything and given you the space to expel it, she's going to be able to also mirror back the things that she sees in a very loving but honest way. Okay. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything she reflects back to you is right or exactly what you're feeling or exactly maybe what you need to work on. But there is this element where you can both, as emotionally mature adults, conversate about what's going on. And you feel safe enough in your body to receive that mirror, to see what you need to see in order to continue to grow. Okay, so this is really, really important. And, we talk a lot about safety and being safe in, different communities that we're in, friendship groups that we're in, people in our family. But I think we need to also acknowledge what safe actually looks and feels like, because what is it, right? It is a feeling like you do know when you're safe with certain people, but safety in more of the realm of working on yourself is being able to say things like, I don't even know what I feel without being met with pressure, right? Someone trying to force it out of you, someone who can sit and maybe ask some really powerful, curious questions to help draw it out of you. Like something that I've experienced sometimes in certain relationships in my life is whenever I am really upset and I'm maybe crying and saying, I really don't know how I feel in this moment. Like, I just feel like I can't even describe it. There are certain people in my life that can sit with that and ask really amazing, safe questions and will draw out my internal answers that were in me all along, but felt very vulnerable to expel. And there's also people that get so frustrated and so angry at that response where it is very problematic and they make it personal that I may not know how I'm feeling. And they want, like, the pressure is like, you need to have an answer right now because that just doesn't even make sense. That's the difference also between someone that feels safe as opposed to maybe someone who does not. Another thing that, that kind of goes along with safety and how it looks and how it feels is knowing that you can express the messy middle. How many of you have been in a messy middle where maybe you are growing and evolving? You're not who you used to be or where you used to be, but you're also not exactly where you want to be or in the life you ultimately desire. So you're in this messy middle, and in the messy middle, that means a lot of times there's rage, there's frustration, there's anger, there's guilt, there's confusion, there's sadness. I mean, I don't want to call it a negative emotion, but like every uncomfortable emotion you can possibly feel is usually in the messy middle. And when you actually feel safe with someone, you can express everything you're going through in the messy middle and still be seen as a whole person, that you're not broken. Like, you're not being met with, well, you're just a broken individual. You're actually being met with, you're just in the messy middle and this is a part of the process and you're safe and it's okay. Like, all of these things that you're feeling are valid. They're okay. You're not where you used to be and you're not where you want to be yet. And everything that you're feeling right now, totally get it. And last but not least, safety isn't someone agreeing with everything you say. That is so important. Safety is not someone agreeing with everything that you say. So if you think, like, in a relationship, the only way you can feel safe with them is if they agree with everything that you say, I hate to break it to you, that's not safety, that in itself, right? Safety is someone loving you enough to sit in the fog or the shit with you and not confuse your pain for your potential. Okay? So someone can sit in the messy, in the hard, but still, again, be that safe mirror to show you maybe something you don't see. Okay, so it's not just someone being like, I agree with every single thing you say. And yes, I hear all of your feelings. And yes, like, whatever, crap you're swirling in, keep swirling in it. A lot of times safety is going beyond that and being like, I hear you and I see you. And also, here's what else I see in you when they're ready for it, right? And here's something else I want to reflect. And you keep talking down to yourself this way, or you keep saying this thing and I think it's keeping you stuck. Like, real safety is being able to be honest within both parties, or whoever you're in a community setting with, whether it's one other person, 2, 3, 4, 10, right? It's really that open, honest ability to be honest about the emotion you're feeling, feel the feelings, and have someone who is sitting in it with you and can hold space for it without making it about themselves, but also reflect back what they see, okay? And here is something that I want to talk about with the mirroring. Like, when people mirror things to us, that clarity is definitely a form of love. I think another way people can talk about it is maybe constructive criticism. And I think constructive criticism can be so great. It's all in how you do it. It's all in the approach. But with mirroring, it's one thing to be held by someone and feel safe. It's another to be lovingly shown where you're stuck or where you're leaking your power or where your story has hijacked your truth. So when we're swirling in emotion, we need someone with clear sight, someone who's not in the situation, who is not going to collapse in the emotion with us. And they're also not going to rush us out of it. That is mirroring. Strong mirroring, is being able to say, yeah, you're absolutely right to feel this, but also here's where I see you giving your power away. It's so important. And I think that's also a really big piece of being a coach. It's that I want to be able to sit with anything my clients bring me, but I don't want them to stay there. And so that trust and mutual respect in, the relationship I have with my clients is being like, I see you, I hear you, I get it. Okay. I get it. This is totally human. You are not a unicorn. Like this, you're totally valid in what you're feeling. And also, can I reflect back to you some things that I'm seeing that maybe you haven't been made aware of, or maybe you're not seeing right now because of the heightened state of emotion, or because the situation is just too close, okay? So here is why this work, safe people, mirroring, here's why it matters so much, especially when people get into overwhelm or what I call hibernation seasons. When we're in pain or burnout, we tend to isolate, or we tend to vent to people who cannot hold the weight of it. Safe people and strong mirrors are what help us process without swirling, express without collapsing. And it's what actually helps us start to reconnect with ourselves in a meaningful way. So it brings us back, not only just emotionally, but energetically and intentionally. So I want you to think about this. Who are the safe people and strong mirrors in your life? And who do you want to be for others? And are you only surrounding yourself with people who keep you comfortable, or are some of them willing to challenge you lovingly? Now, if any of this sounds like what you need and you don't have it, again, be on my email list. Make sure you pay attention to upcoming offers, because I have something that's really going to target this. And I think it's going to be really great. So if you're interested in that, be on my email list. More coming soon. Can't wait to share it with you. And I will see you again next week. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. If you'd like to connect on social media, you can find me on both Instagram and Facebook at Macy Renee Coaching. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my offers, announcements, and inspirational emails, you can join my email list at macyrenee.com. In addition, if there's a way that I can further support you in your coaching journey, you can schedule a free 60-minute consult at macyrenee.com anytime you want, so we can discuss the best options for you. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.